Instrumental or operant learning is based on the notion that learning occurs through a trial and error method, with habits formed as a result of rewards received for certain responses or behaviors. Just like classical conditioning, instrumental conditioning requires a link between a stimulus and a response. However, in instrumental conditioning, the stimulus that results in the most rewarded response is the one that is learned. For example, after visiting stores, consumers know which stores carry the type of clothing they prefer at prices they can afford to pay. Once they find that a store that carries clothing that meets their needs, they are likely to patronize it and exclude all the other stores. Every time they purchase a shirt that they really like, their store loyalty is rewarded and they are likely to become repeat customers. American psychologist Skinner constructed the model of instrumental learning. According to Skinner, most learning occurs in environments where individuals are rewarded for choosing an appropriate behavior. In consumer behavior terms, instrumental conditioning suggests that consumers learn by means of a trial and error process in which some purchase behaviors result in more favorable outcomes. A favorable experience is the instrument of teaching the individual to repeat a specific behavior. Like Pavlov, Skinner developed his model of learning by working with animals. Small animals such as rats and pigeons were placed in Skinner box. If they behaved as Skinner desired, such as pressing a particular level or pecking keys, he rewarded them with food. Skinner and his many adherents have done amazing things with this learning model, including teaching pigeons to play ping pong and even to dance. Skinner distinguished between the two types of reinforcement that influence the likelihood of a response to be repeated. The first type, positive reinforcement, rewards a particular behavior and thus strengthens the likelihood of a specific response during the same or similar situation. For example, a child receives ice cream when passing an ice cream stand and receives pleasure from eating it. Then whenever he passes by the stand, he asks for ice cream. This is positive reinforcement. Negative reinforcement is the removal of an unpleasant stimulus and it strengthens the likelihood of a given response during the same or similar circumstances. For example, a child has a cold and also hates swallowing pills. Her mother convinces her to take a medicine and her cold symptoms go away. That is, the unpleasant stimulus is removed. Next time she has a cold, most likely the girl will agree to swallow a pill and might even ask specifically for that particular medicine. Either positive or negative reinforcement can be used to elicit a desired response. However, negative reinforcement should not be confused with punishment, which is designed to discourage behavior. For example, receiving a speeding ticket, having to pay a fine, is not a negative reinforcement. It is a form of punishment, which is designed to discourage future speeding. Product quality must be consistently high and it must satisfy the customer every time that they buy the product. But additional rewards do not have to be offered during every transaction because occasional rewards often effectively reinforce customers' loyalty. For example, airlines occasionally upgrade a passenger at the gate. Here, the possibility of receiving a reward is the reinforcement and incentive for continued loyalty. Psychologists have identified three reinforcement schedules. The first one is continuous, second is fixed, and third one is variable. Continuous reinforcement is a reward that is provided after each transaction, such as after a free after dinner drink or dessert, always served to a regular loyal customer of a restaurant. A fixed ratio reinforcement schedule provides reinforcement every nth time the product or service is purchased. It could be every second time, third time, fifth time, every nth time that the product or service is purchased. For example, a retailer may send a credit voucher to account holders every 3 months based on a percentage of the customer's purchases during the last 3 months. Variable ratio reinforcement schedule rewards consumers on a random basis. Variable ratios tend to have high rates of desired behavior and are somewhat resistant to extinction. Apparently, for many consumers, hope springs eternal. Some of the examples of variable ratio schedules include lotteries, door prizes, contests that require certain consumer behaviors for eligibility. Shaping increases the probability that a desired consumer behavior will occur. Reinforcement performed before the desired consumer behavior actually takes place is called shaping. For example, retailers recognize that they must first attract customers to their stores before they can expect those customers to do the bulk of their shopping. Many retailers provide some form of preliminary reinforcement, that is shaping, to encourage consumers to visit their stores. For example, some retailers offer popular products at severely discounted prices to the first 100 or to the first 50 customers, because those customers are likely to buy more products at the store rather than only the discounted item. By reinforcing the behavior that is needed to enable the desired consumer behavior, marketers increase the probability that the desired behavior will occur. Should a learning schedule be spread out over a long period of time, which is known as distributed learning, or should it be all at once bunched up in a single package, which is called mass learning? This question is an important one for advertisers planning a media schedule, because mass advertisements produce more initial learning, whereas distributed schedule usually results in learning that persists longer. When advertisers want an immediate impact, they generally use a mass schedule to hasten the consumer learning. However, when the goal is a long-term repeat buying on a regular basis, a distributed schedule is preferable. A distributed schedule with ads repeated on a regular basis usually results in long-term learning that is relatively immune to extinction.